Hello, Bulldogs, and welcome to another edition of Open Line on Air. I'm your host and the proud superintendent of Garfield Heights City Schools, Terry Olszewski. Today, we have with us a longtime member of the Garfield Heights community and someone who has been very involved with the schools over the years. And he currently serves as a member of the Board of Education, Vice President, Mr. Bob Dobies. Welcome, Mr. Dobies. We're going to spend a little time getting to know Mr. Dobies today and about his role as a school board member. Before we do that, I want to thank the Cuyahoga Valley Career Center and their students who are behind the cameras for a job well done. And so now on to the interview with Mr. Dobies. Let's start with some background questions. Mr. Dobies, would you take a moment to share a little bit about your background for the viewers at home?
Thank you, Mr. Rowe. I'm happy to be here. My parents moved to the community back in the mid to late 50s, moving to suburbia, I guess you would say, as many do today. They traveled to Garfield to set a higher standard of living and like what the community offered for their family. I'm a 70 graduate. I had an older brother, 64 grad, a younger sister, 73 grad. And we all came through the system. Happy to say my wife Michelle and I have raised our 3 sons within the community, and they were all part of the Garfield district and went on to college. I think the community has offered us a way of life and everything we can ask for to improve our family on a whole.
I know your 3 boys. Why don't you tell me about the colleges they went to and how successful they are now?
Well, they all were able to obtain college educations by educational standards and athletic standards. They were all pretty good athletes. My oldest went on to Baldwin Wallace College. My second son, he went on to Kent State, finished at Cleveland State, and my youngest son went on to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. I think they all had the opportunities because of the base education that they got through Garfield, and you and I both know that in part that you just don't go to college. There's entrance exams, and sometimes you get what you want and sometimes you don't. I think with the education they received through Garfield Heights, they were all able to achieve and obtain their goals that they were trying to reach with their college educations.
I know you have a lifetime commitment to Garfield Heights and the involvement part of living here your entire life. Could you share a little bit about the organizations you're involved with and the things that you have done over the years in our community?
Well, as a working man coming into the community, I think I got involved just like everybody else does. It was for the kids. My 3 sons I spent many years with as they escalated through the different programs that they were part of, but I went from T-ball, where everybody starts at, to soccer, to wrestling, to football, to baseball, and carried through that by partaking. I was part of the staff at Garfield in the early 90s, went on to coach at Benedictine, coached baseball all the way through the Connie Mack level. So some way, somehow, not only with my kids, I imparted my time and talents with the other kids in the community and outside communities too.
We know that being a school board member is a part-time thing. What do you do for a living?
Well, I came in when Mayor Kalova got elected. He asked me if I would be interested in taking the Parks and Recreation job, and I did. And I think it was just a natural transition for me because I've always gave back, so to speak. I think I have leadership qualities that was recognized by a lot of people moving up through the ranks, whether it was in labor with the Teamsters or succeeding in getting a seat on the school board and then continuing on in coaching ranks to play some part of active part within the community.
You mentioned the school board. What's your role as a school board member?
As a school board member, we oversee. We're not the everyday people. We hired you and Mr. Saluka.
Which was a good thing.
Yes, and absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But we hire you to see the daily activities, to administer those duties and delegate the duties on down. And I think what you bring to the table, the team aspect, which I truly believe in, has played a big impact in what we do on a daily basis and how we go about our business. So some people believe that we should be involved in the daily things, which we are. And we have to review many things, but we set the vision for the district and we set policy to guide the district through.
As a school board member, everybody gets their niche. What do you focus in on?
Well, from day one, and I think it's been proven because I I'm proud to say I helped the city get through fiscal emergency in my department. I focused on the finances as soon as I walked in the door. I'm not an accountant, but I have a niche for numbers. And, it's very important, especially when you don't have money, and we've been fortunate enough through the residents that they passed the levy and gave us the money to operate. But that is a task that I go over monthly to make sure the numbers are consistent and we're not overspending, and we get what we need. So I'm pretty diligent in that regard as to seeing those through, and of course educational needs and so forth and so on. But we can't do anything without money. It's just as simple as that.
From your opinion, what do you think are our strengths as Garfield Heights City Schools?
The strengths overall, I think we continue to achieve academically. I know everybody was disappointed with our grade card, recent grade card thing, but I can tell you, and Dr. Constanza at the last board meeting gave a report where he shows strides being taken that we're continually improving in every aspect that we've implemented. And I think people today need to know that education is a little bit different than when you and I went to school. It's just not 30 kids in a class. It's that they're almost an individual educational process where we recognize the needs of those students and get them help immediately, and we're able to do that. So I think that is a strong effort on a whole by our educators and our support staff that we continue to improve. And with the changing criteria of the state standards, it's tough. It's a tough nut to crack. But I think we're accomplishing that over the last 3-4 years, and see a bright side of things.
Now, on the flip side, what are some of our challenges that we're up against?
Well, I think people talk about diversity coming in the community, but it was always a diverse community to begin with. I think what we recognize is, though, impoverished families, and that's tough to deal with. Reading, writing, arithmetic will always be there, and that's our first and earnest effort. But I think as to giving the needs to those children, again, comes back to dollars and cents. And I think that we do a great job in providing whatever is needed for those children to recognize their achievements.
You talked about some of the things that have changed. What stayed the same?
I think basically we're a blue-collar neighborhood. I think, and that's not to say we don't have young executive-type people within our community, but it's a starter neighborhood. But I think what the community offers on a whole, the upgrades in the community itself, the upgrades within our district, school district itself, constantly meeting the needs, I think people recognize that, and that's why they come to Garfield Heights. And I'm proud to say that, I'm part of that, part of the solution, not part of a problem. As many may view that in a negative tone, but everything is positive here right now.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to share about the Garfield Heights City Schools?
Just that I've been part of it my whole life, as you mentioned early on, and I'm very proud of the fact that I can contribute. And I try on a daily basis, whether it's in my job capacity or outside my job capacity. I think the meld between the recreation director and being a board member, that I see more things. The working relationship with the city puts me in tune with a lot of things, and I try to bring that to the school board meetings, let the people know that. But the continuing working relationship, the partnership that we've built, with the city and the whole, especially with the new SRO officer. We brought back the Safety Town this year, and that was a joint effort between the schools and the city. I think those are just positive things, and onward and upward, I guess.
Well, Mr. Dobies, thank you for taking time away from your busy schedule to share about being a school board member. There's no question that people like you have helped to create Bulldog Pride. And to the community at home, thank you for tuning in for another edition of Open Line on Air. And until next time, I'm Superintendent Terry Olszewski, and as always, go Bulldogs!